bad, then I eat, breathe, and dream about climbing. Like
Really? Okay, wait. I suspect, when you were saying like, I realized I'm not too bad, you were probably climbing faster than other people who were going there quite regularly. And then you went like, actually, I'm quite good. Tell me, that must have happened. Really, really.
I think when I started out, I struggled a lot because it was really tough and tiring, and I didn't really like it. I thought that I've always been a very sporty person. It shouldn't be a problem. Maybe it's just because I'm so competitive and I didn't excel as much as I wanted it to be. So I find that, probably this isn't the sport for me. But one fine day, suddenly, I just went to a climbing gym. There was just me and another guy trying a climbing problem, and I did better than him first time.
You see? You see, when you beat someone, it's that shock feeling. The adrenaline is pumping, and it's just good, when you can look over and And I think on the climbing wall, you're looking down, and then that guy is looking up at you like, oh man. So, and then that kind of inspired you, like, I want more. The thirst was created.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're going to carry on our conversation on Facebook Live as well as the 1FM YouTube channel. Come and join us. Hear more about it, because I'm going to ask Beatrix next, how did you take that love into a competition, to become like a competitor in sport climbing? I really want to know when that happened for you. So come and hear all about it. Join us right now. Everybody, a very good morning and welcome. The Brightside is now on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel. And get a look, isn't her cheekbones beautiful? I can see why people thought, you were not local, because they're really beautiful. Yeah, it's probably as sharp as, some of the walls that you had to climb, but beautiful I like. It's very, very striking feature. Okay, so I love that story. You beat that friend or some random guy, is it? Or friend?
One of my friends.
Are y'all still friends?
He shifted to Thailand.
Oh, okay. See, he was just like, he couldn't compete with you anymore. He took himself out of the country. He's like, I cannot beat this woman, so I must go elsewhere. Okay, so that got you into the sport. And, you were probably just, like a regular, maybe you go down and try different things. Because I know that every time you're at the wall, it's a different experience, right? You get better, the wall might change and all that. There are different routes. But how did you take this love for climbing into competitive sport climbing? When did that, switch happen?
I think after about 2 years, then I thought I want to join a competition. So that was the first time, and I won the competition.
Wow.
And from then on, it was really an addiction. I just want to compete so much.
And what did that entail, to prep for that very, very first competition? What did you, say to yourself, okay, I need to get this ready or what? Or you just went, no lah, I just sleep well the night before, I wake up and then I saunter in and beat everybody.
Okay, so I think, usually people just train for 1 year and they just go for it. For me, it took me 2 years because for the first 1.5 years, I just went there just for the social aspect, just hang out with friends. So for me, I took 2 years for me to prepare. So I thought that, there's no pressure, just go there and have fun. And just want to see what's competition about.
I'm going to ask this from a very girly perspective.
Yeah.
So does this mean that since you started, let's see now, all the way in Polytechnic, that's quite a number of years. I guess no long nails for you lah. No mani lah. No mani pedi or that lah.
No.
Aiyo, how? Okay lah, maybe I can be the first rock climber with the mani pedi. I don't know. I'll just lose some nails up there. But wow, so that's when it really clicked. And then when you won that first competition, you were like, you know what? I'm really good at this. I'm going to carry on. So you kept on going for competitions.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what, in your opinion, is the toughest sport climbing competition? Is it here, or is it one that is overseas? Have you competed overseas?
Yes, I competed overseas, but I think to better myself, because since I started climbing and I competed for so many years, I've always been on the podium. I think it's less than 5 times. that I have not been on the podium, even for the overseas competition that I went to.
Gosh.
Yeah. So to better myself, I actually took part in the open men's category a few times. Yeah.
Is that allowed though? Because it says open men's category.
Yeah, so when I went into the isolation, everybody looked at me like, oh, since when have you become a guy? But
You were the only woman there.
yeah.
That is amazing. That is, you know what? Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up to you. And you did place on the podium even in those open men's.
No.
Yeah. Those were one of the few times. You can count with just one hand. It's okay. Still very good. The record is very good. But wow, you really do push yourself. I like how you are always finding ways to challenge yourself. You know, what is the next level? And you're not going to rest on your laurels, you know, not bathe in like all like the pride of like winning. I love that. We're going to jump back on air in just a little bit and speak more with our sports personality, our dear guest today, Beatrix Chong, find out more about sport climbing itself. That is pretty much it. That's taking place right here on the Brightside. It's My Life. We're talking about her life. And this one by Talk Talk. We're going to do a lot of talking here on the show. I want to welcome the founder of Ground Up Climbing, as well as the coach for the National Youth Climbing Team. And you also instruct at the Singapore Sports School. We've got Beatrix Chong here to talk about the very, very interesting sport of competitive sport climbing. So you were mentioning that you always push yourself, right? You're always finding ways to how do I better myself and all that. You have really this very natural drive. That is amazing. And I love how you were saying that, no, I always place on the podium. Always. I'm very familiar with all the podiums here, overseas. But I want to ask you this, you know, so are you still involved in competitions? Do you still take part? You know, just like, I don't know, because, you know, it must have been quite a thrill. Do you still compete?
I don't compete anymore. Because,
Why?
Because after one accident when I was in Vietnam competing, you know, I fell down and I torn my ACL. Yeah, so after that, I kind of stopped because it just put me off from any activities for about 2 months.
It's because you had to recover.
Yeah.
Wow, that
and
must be
I
quite
was having a
serious
young
thing.
child then.
Okay.
So I couldn't even take care of myself and take care of him.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought that, you know, that's the end of like competing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, it's good that you take a moment because some injuries you really need to just rest up, you know. If not, you just won't heal properly. And there's going to be a whole host of problems down the road. But I still see that you're very much involved. And can I just ask, when did Ground Up Climbing begin?
Okay, so I started out actually with one of my partner as a coaching service company.
Okay.
But after like a few years, like 3 years later, then I kind of founded this climbing gym. It was just a takeover from a previous climbing gym. Yeah, and yeah, so from then I started alone, and recently I got a new partner that came in.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's more of building the climbing wall in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's it like running a climbing gym? That sounds like so much fun. It's like you go to work and you have fun, but you do still climb even though just not competitively, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not as fun as you would imagine it.
Oh.
Because there's a lot of hard work behind.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and like by the end of the day, you're so drained out, you don't really have energy to climb.
Oh, no. Well, I do hope that, you know, you still have those moments during the week, you know, just half an hour where you can indulge in your love, because I can clearly see that you have a real passion and love for just climbing in general. I mean, you're still doing it. You've brought it to the next level. You're involved in such a different way, having your own climbing gym, teaching the next generation. You are an inspiration, lady. Okay, we're going to carry on our chat. We're hopping back onto Facebook Live and the 1FM YouTube channel. Come and join us. We've got a great track for you right now. This is Duran Duran with Ordinary World.
The Bright
Hey everybody, welcome back. And yes, so we're going to carry on asking those questions. So we just heard from Beatrix that, setting up ground up climbing is a whole new ballgame, I'm sure, because you're running a business as well, right? So sometimes, unfortunately, we can't always be having fun, but you do find those moments, climbing, just taking that time for yourself. So what is it like in your other role where you are the coach of the national youth climbing team here in Singapore? How did you fall into that position? And what is that like?
I guess it was incidental appointment that I was given to. It was just so random that we don't used to have a national coach, and I saw a post from the federation saying that they're just gonna get Japanese coach over to coach together with our national coach. So I just asked, on the Facebook and asked, who are the national coach? And then the next moment, I got a message saying that, are you interested to be the national coach?
Oh.
Then I thought, why not,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I took up the challenge and be the national coach. And from then on, I thought that, at first I thought it was just a daily routine. You just go in and coach people, because when back then I don't have a coach, so we don't really have a structure. We don't even know, what are we supposed to do.
Right.
So after when I watched climbing in the Olympic in the Tokyo 2020, that's when I started to tell myself, no, something needs to change. And that's when I started to improve myself. I went overseas for the coaching courses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was very lucky to be sponsored by the IOC, the International Olympic Council.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to attend this course for all the women. It's under this WISH program, so it's called Women in Sports Performance High Pathway, something like that.
That is so great. They're empowering, women in particular in that coaching role, because, it is important, right, to learn proper structure so that they can bring that and it can be passed down to the next generation of athletes. Can you kind of set the context for us about sport climbing in Singapore? It's still considered relatively young?
Yeah, it is very young. That's why I say that there's no structure. Everything is by your mentor, how you learn it from, and then you come in, you will just think that, this is the way that you train the kids. But after I travel and I learn from other coaches from other country, I realized that no, you really need a proper planning.
Right.
It's not just 1 year plan, but 4-year plans.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So does this mean how long have you been in this role again as the national coach?
Since 2019.
2019. So the 4-year plan, you're still in the midst of it with your trainees, yeah? Wow. So I have to ask this. Climbing itself, I've tried it, right? And I thought to myself, when I see people doing it, I'm like, yes, use your leg muscles. Leg muscles are bigger. But when I'm up on the wall, suddenly my legs don't work. And I'm like, come on, just step up. It looks so easy when they do it, but I'm like, it doesn't work. So I want to ask this, as a hobby, as an interest, or even if people want to take it to the competitive level, would you say that there is sort of a prerequisite physically when you want to go into climbing?
Actually, there isn't really, because they have so many different kind of routes for you and the different wall profile. They have the slab one. If you are physically not as fit, so you can choose the slab wall.
Okay.
And they have easy routes, so you can just do lapping over on the slab wall to build some strength first.
Okay. And what other sort of training do you encourage for your trainees on the national team? Because it can't just be climbing, or weight training. The agility, I think, is a really big thing that is essential to the sport itself. So do they do stretching, yoga, gymnastics?
Yeah, so I think people always think that for climber they need to train a lot of upper body, which yes. When I was training back then, I focused a lot of my upper body. And then you go to a climbing gym, you always hear people, do you want to do pull out? You want to do hangboard?
Okay.
And you seldom hear people say, hey, do you want to do some legs exercise?
So everyone ends up with the chicken legs lah.
Yeah. But recently, because the style of the climb has changed to a bit more dynamic, parkourish.
Okay.
So you really need a lot of legs.
So it's kind of like you do need full body.
Yes, you need full body.
So that is sort of a switch in the sports itself.
Yeah.
So when you are training the national team, the youth national team, it's really an all-rounded training. Don't skip leg day at the gym. That's what you're saying, is it?
Yeah.
So now, even for yourself, are you also training your legs as well? It's a more balance, because even though you're enjoying it just, for your own enjoyment, you're realizing that switch, that change.
Okay, so for me, I've always been the more powerful climber when I was still training. So I skip the legs totally. I'm the most inflexible climber that you can see. Yeah, but I think in recent year, because your body awareness, you really need that kind of body awareness in you to do the parkourish kind of move. So I took out a lot of exercise that require the bosu ball, to train your stability. So I did a lot of research on that, and I made the younger climber, start out with all this body awareness kind of exercise. So you don't hear them just saying that their body is aching. They'll come in and tell you that
they can't move.
Yeah, my legs are so sore.
You know what? I think when you have the training program, right, just everyone bring sleeping bags, After you finish the climb, you come down, you just lie down, and then you just rest. Because, wow, it must be very, very intense. Yeah. Do you have a quick tip to share about how you deal with the soreness?
Okay, so every time when they come in, they tell me that their body is sore or whatever. I ask them to do the normal warm-up and then do a lot of stretching. Okay. And after that, I think you kind of don't feel as sore as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any food or drinking lots of water? Does it help with it?
Okay, one thing that I always remind them that after the workout, 30 minutes, please go and refuel themselves.
Okay. So a quick snack and stuff like that, some healthy snacks. Very good advice indeed. Now, I want to take this question here on Facebook Live, but also later on air. What do you love about your sport?
Okay, so for me, I think I love how the intensity that it's putting my body through. Maybe I'm a bit psychotic, I just love the kind of pain and intense that it puts my body through. And it helped me to be very creative as well. Right, because you're trying to find your route to the top. Yeah. I would never have seen it this way, that how sport climbing or even climbing itself really is a great workout for the whole body, especially when we're seeing that trend towards, parkour, and how it's really inspiring creativity as well. So it's very much a mental thing, climbing is. I really do love that. We need to chat more about this and also about the misconceptions that people have on climbing. Let's clear that up on air. So come and join us on 1FM at 91.3, Good Times Greatest Hits. This is one from Asif Base. Don't turn around here on the Brightside. And remember, all of this week, this is day 3 of our very special sports week. We are speaking to the founder of Ground Up Climbing. She is also the national coach for the National Youth Climbing Team. And she's also an instructor at the Singapore Sports School. We are so pleased and excited to have with us Beatrix Chong. And I was asking you, what do you love about your sport? And you shared with us. Yeah, so I love how the intensity that it puts my body through. Yeah, and it kind of make me more creative and think out of the box. You know what? It's really funny. You went on Facebook Live. You said that I like how it really pushes my body and that strain even that you feel. And you said maybe I'm psychotic. I don't think so. I think that is something that a lot of I wouldn't say just athletes, but I think people who also do exercising or sports just for enjoyment, the moment they feel that and they can overcome it, their body is still responding and doing it, they're like,
I am Superwoman or Superman, you know. So I can understand where it's coming from. I don't think it's psychotic at all. And I must say that, is it fair to say that, you know, the climbing community anywhere, but here in Singapore, it seems like a pretty tight-knit community. I mean, you know, you talk about how, I enjoy hanging out with friends. What is it like, the community?
Yeah, I think, in the past, there's only very few female climber. So everybody just know each other. You just go in and you just hang out with them and you talk in the isolation. You don't feel the stress. But nowadays, because the sport is growing, very popular, so you have really a lot of people inside and everybody is just wanting to win. You can feel the stressness.
Really? So now what you're noticing is a little bit more stressful now because it's a lot more people. It's getting a little bit more competitive. I would say there's greater interest. That's always a good thing. Is there anything else that you've noticed? Because you've been in climbing for so long. Are there any other like trends or differences you're seeing, over the years?
So I think in the past, we only have competition for the adults.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we are starting really young for young kids as well.
How young?
So I started this category called Super Kids. So it's for 7 to 9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, because in international, you are only allowed to compete at the age of 10.
That's really young still, yeah?
Yeah, but you can't just expect to take the 10 years old, train them for a few months, and then you bring them overseas and expect them to do well.
Right.
Yeah,
like you said, it needs at least a year of training.
Yeah. So I started to, organize competition for younger kids, and I roped in a few of the climbing gyms to join me to do a league. Yeah.
That sounds really fun. And it must be because I have now you're jogging my memory, like we would walk to certain spaces where they have a climbing gym and I saw these young little kids and they're fast, man. They are fast. I'm just like, wow. So I guess kids naturally have that innate ability, to scale heights and all of that. And there's this whole interior design thing where people are putting in, the bouldering. What do you call those pieces?
Climbing holes.
Climbing holes, is it? They're putting it in the bedrooms of their children. So there's like a little short, little climbing wall. I think that's really great because I feel like I need to train more of my muscles. Cardio is a great thing, but I think weight training is really good. And if you're using your own weight, even better, right? Yeah. So when do you suggest for yourself when kids should really start? I know you have the Super Kids thing that starts 7 to 9. Can kids start younger?
Yeah, sure. I used to have one kids, she's 2 years plus.
No way.
Yeah, she was 2 years plus. I didn't know, I thought that she was 4 years old. She was doing lapping.
She's very tall
she's just really a small kid.
But yeah, you would think that at 2, what was my children? I have 3 boys. At 2, I think they walking, maybe still cannot feed themselves. But this kid is climbing.
Yeah, she's really climbing, So one day I was just curious and checked on her profile. And then she just turned 3 then. So she has already been coming for more than half a year with the father climbing on the wall. So the father would just come, clip her in, ask her to do a few laps so that he can go and climb on his own.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're learning something new here. Climbing can be the next babysitter. Yeah. Especially if you enjoy climbing yourself. Get your kids in it. That's amazing. 2 years old.
Yeah.
They are starting younger and younger.
Yeah.
I think that's it lah. No chance already. Where was I at 2? I also don't know. Okay, we're going to jump back on Facebook Live and our 1FM YouTube channel. Come and join us and hear more about climbing in Singapore. Hey everybody, isn't that amazing? So a 2-year-old is the age of your youngest climbing student. So do you coach her?
No,
she doesn't need to be coached.
She was just a regular customer that's come in. Yeah, but after a while I don't see her anymore. But I think that was when I started to tell myself that yes, we need to recruit younger climber because it's the chicken and egg thing.
Okay.
People always think that only when you produce medal, then you want to invest in this climber, but I always believe that I need a big pool of like young climbers to train them. Because from there, then you will slowly sieve them, and you only have very few that will
carry on.
Yes,
and that's the best, because they would be those who are genuinely interested and passionate about the sport. This is a very interesting thing that you're bringing up, which my earlier sports personality on Tuesday, Sydney Kuma, that whole chicken and egg thing. Like when it comes to like getting corporate sponsorship, a lot of them are like, oh, we'll see first. But then again, you need to help invest in the sport to grow the community and also the talent pool and raise the standard of it, so it kind of takes a leap of faith, and faith, and so it's chicken and egg thing is like, oh, but you need to come in before. I understand where that is coming from. So here's the thing that I want to ask you now: are there any misconceptions that people have about climbing, sport climbing, climbers, that you want to clear up right now? You're like, oh my God, get over with that,
Okay, so in the past, when people introduce me as a climber to my friends, and then people will ask me question like, oh, so do you climb Mount Everest?
Oh, yeah. Okay, have you? Just aside.
Okay.
Any interest in that kind of climbing?
No. Okay, so I feel that it's totally different, because like one is mountaineering and you are trekking on high altitude.
Okay.
Whereas for me, I'm just climbing on a part of the rock surface.
Oh, that's really interesting, because I guess I never really thought about the terminology. So that is called mountaineering.
Yeah.
And the people who do it are called mountaineers.
Yeah.
So we don't call them climbers.
No.
I learned something new today. Yeah. Okay, so that is the distinction. And do you ever like, when you get introduced, and before they can even ask that question, no, I have not gone to climb Mount Everest, and I don't plan to. Do you ever do that?
No, because I mean, like, okay, so my friends used to like introduce, oh, she's the ex-national climber.
Okay.
But back then, I just didn't think that it's such a big deal. I didn't take pride in it.
What?
I just thought that, oh yeah, I'm just a regular climber.
You see, this is because you play so easily each and every time on the podium. You're just like, no, it's an everyday thing for me. It's no biggie. You see, You see? When you're that good. Okay, but how should we, to clear that up here and for everyone to know better, so those in the sport of climbing or even a competitive climbing, we would call them climbers. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Any other misconceptions that we should clear up about the sport?
They always think that, the guys will climb better than the ladies. Yeah, but that's not true.
Okay,
that's
fair
not
enough.
entirely true. Yeah.
So it's really quite, I would say, an even sport, because it really depends. Does it really depend on like, your innate genetic makeup, what you're born with?
I think it's a mix of both. Like, you only have like 1% of the talent, and 99% are hard work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if, like, say, I think this is something, most people don't really train their upper body. So you can come into the sport, and as long as you put in the hard work, the sweat, the effort, you could actually get really good at this sport.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as you need to be born, ready, or like, you must have good muscles or whatever. No, none of that. It can be trained.
Yeah.
There's hope. There's hope on the horizon for this. We've got some great questions from our Brightsiders on our Facebook as well as WhatsApp. I'm going to share this one from Alun. Hey, Alun. He says, now, how did you, so we had, how long, this one I asked already, Alun, how long are your nails? Can I just ask right now? You show it to the camera as well, to your camera, I believe it's there. So always short.
Yes, short.
Okay, so have you seen it, Alun? So I guess if I cut my nail short, then I can pretend, I climb also. Yeah. And Eileen Daniel on Facebook, she's saying that when it comes to climbing, would you say that core training is really, really key? Because I think, we talk about upper body, we know, and we now know that your legs are also very much involved. And she also wants to add, you are making Singaporeans proud.
Thank you so much,
Eileen. So what are your thoughts on that core training?
I think every single part is important, even the brain, because you are always, when you look at a new problem, you're training to be creative. Yeah. So I always tell my climber, you cannot just plan plan A. You need to make sure that you have option B, C, D.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you approach a wall, you're saying that the mentality you adopt, you're already seeing like 4 or 5 routes.
No, I mean there's one problem, but
Okay.
you need to see the alternative way of,
in case it doesn't work out when you're right there at that
Yeah.
point,
Yes.
it might maybe you can't reach or it's too
Yes,
far, it's
then
not
you have to,
practical. You
change
need to
your
pivot quickly. Like, okay, what's the next thing I will do?
Yes.
So how do you train that mental part? For example, for the trainees that are under you, do any creative exercise, Sudoku or something.
Okay, so I think once they finish the problem, not the intended way,
Okay.
then I will ask them to come down, try the intended way,
Oh,
and then if
wow.
their friends are doing another different way, then
Yeah.
I will ask them, okay, now you try this way. So it shows that it's not just one set of way to do it. There's so many different ways. So I want to make them
Right.
try different ways so that when they go for a competition, they can exercise all this into practice.
So letting them experience it for themselves would really, really hit home, and I think that will really stay with it. So it's really, you would say that mentally it's just about gaining that experience. Keep trying, and to be disciplined with even that one route or that one, you call it climbing problem. I notice you call it, is it called climbing problem?
Yeah, you can call it problem or route.
Ah, okay. See, I want to learn the lingo. So at least if I meet a climber down the road, I'll be like, oh yeah, the climbing problem, I don't know. And then she'll be like, what are you talking about? At least I didn't call you a mountaineer or something, So, that, and it's that discipline to reapproach it, and then like you said, the intended, the non-intended, how do you feel? What did you notice? That is really, I can see how, I want you as my teacher. I want you as my head coach, And can you share with us any funny stories that has happened, in all your long career as a climber, as a coach? Anything funny that has happened in the training?
Okay, so I volunteered to take the younger group, like for UC and D. So they are ranging from 8 years old to 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and then every time when I set a boulder problem for them,
Yeah.
they will just fight to take cue. Yeah.
What is it to queue up to go for it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the first on there.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
So in the past, everybody would just sit down and you just have to tell them, hey, go and try. Then after, I don't know when did this start, they always want to be the first. So after a while, right, they just come up with this queue number thing. I want to be the first. I want to be a second, And every single training, you have 8 kids, 9 kids, trying to rush to be the first one to go onto the wall.
I'm going to help you out here, Beatrix. Okay, and I now have a role I can see myself doing very well in climbing or sport climbing. I will be your door woman. Okay, I will put a velvet rope and I'll be like, please line up. Is your name on the list? Okay, you're next. Please, at the back there, please queue up. I will help you maintain order.
That would be great.
Can I?
Yeah.
But you must get me a sharp-looking suit, lah. We're gonna ask you more questions, especially we're going into a brand new year. I'm gonna ask Beatrix what she's hoping for herself, or even for her various roles. We're gonna talk a little bit more about her role as an instructor at the Singapore Sports School as well. So come and tune in. Join me on the Brightside on 1FM 91.3. And thank you once again to everyone sharing those questions. And we're going to share one more from Eileen. She talks about cliff climbing. Yeah, let's see. Can you explain the differences? Is it seen differently climbing outside compared to what you have done? So let's take that question on air as well. Eileen, come and join us on 1FM 91.3. Ooh, that's a classic one there from Heart. All I want to do is make love to you right here on the Brightside. A very, very good morning to you. I'm having such a fun time, and I'm really learning a lot about climbing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to achieve the sport climbing, status of things, but definitely you are opening my eyes toward the whole sport of climbing. And we had a great question coming in from Eileen Daniel on Facebook, but we're going to take it here on air. She asked about cliff climbing. So I'm assuming she's talking about out there,
Natural rock.
So are you familiar with that, or do you handle more of the indoor rock climbing, or you do both? It's not a challenge.
I do both, but mainly just the indoor, because when I started climbing, I'm more into a competition climber.
Okay.
So it was just train for competition, go overseas, compete, and come back.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't really do a lot of outdoors. Only like recent years, I started to do a bit more outdoors.
What would you say are the differences between outdoor and indoor?
Okay, so I feel that the outdoor climbers, the strong is very different, because for indoor, all the holes are very obvious,
Okay.
You can see whether you can throw to the move, or you need to do it statically. But for the outdoor, because everywhere is climbing like holes for you, every place you can step, but it's just not that obvious.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to take time to slowly find your good holes and where to step.
Okay.
So I feel that the main difference is you really need to rely on your legs a lot in outdoors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So recently I just came back from a climbing trip in Krabi.
Yeah. Sounds so fun. I wonder if I could ever say that I just came back from a climbing trip. And where?
And the thing is, when in indoor, I used to shake up more on my hand, because you get, all the lactic acid. Yeah.
Right.
So you get very, you get tired. But outdoor, I need to shake up my legs instead. Yeah.
That is so cute. Okay. So those are the big differences. But I can imagine that, when it is a natural rock face, it's like, how do you even plan for it? You never quite know until you're on the wall, right? Where are some great places where people, can they do it here in Singapore? Natural rock climbing?
In the past, we have this place called Dairy Farm, but now it's closed. Yeah, so and park restricted.
Okay.
And nobody can climb there. So the nearest will be in Malaysia.
Okay. And Krabi is in Thailand.
Yeah.
So you went to Thailand to find that friend who got you interested in climbing,
no.
And you wanted to compete with him and just beat him, because you told me that he's now based in Thailand, so you went to find
Chiang
him.
Mai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close. I think he was a bit nervous or so. He heard you were coming. Yeah. So right now, for those who are interested in trying the outdoor sort of like climbing, we actually have to head overseas. The closest would actually be Malaysia. That is very interesting indeed. Well, we're going to head back to Facebook Live and wrap things up, and then come back here on 1FM. So come and join us. I've got a great track for you to enjoy. It's Kelly Clarkson with Since You've Been Gone. Oh my God, babe, you're making me laugh so much. Everybody, isn't that such a great thing to learn? I mean, like, I didn't really realize, I would think that it was the same case, whether you were doing indoor climbing or outdoor, that it was really all upper strength, So I'm learning a lot that it's really full body, your core, your legs, but outdoor, on an outdoor natural wall, it's really more legs. And losing your legs to really conquer that wall. I have this image now, because you're saying you're shaking it's like dancing lah,
Yeah.
Do you or do the sports, the climbers, do they have earplugs plugged in, or no, you can't? You just have to be, fully focused. Can you listen to music while you're enjoying the thing?
Okay, so now we have this system called auto belay. Where you just clip yourself in, and then you just climb to the top, and the machine will bring you down. Yeah, so you can do it alone. So for that, you can use the earpiece.
Okay.
But if you are climbing, like you are doing like lead climbing and
What's
top rope.
lead climbing and top rope? What's that?
Okay, so lead climbing is whereby there's no ropes on the wall. So
Okay.
you have to literally bring the ropes up, and then there's safety protection along the way.
Huh?
Yeah. So because you need a belayer,
Okay.
so you need to communicate. Yeah. So you need to hear each other.
I see.
Yeah. Whereas for top rope, the rope is already on top of you, but you still need a belayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if when you have 2% involved,
Yeah.
you can wear the earpiece because you need to communicate.
Or at least that earpiece better be connected to the earpiece your belayer is wearing, like, and then you can communicate with each other,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Bit Mission Impossible there.
Yeah.
Okay, but can they, like, at your ground up climbing, your climbing gym, can individuals try these different forms of climbing that you just mentioned?
Yeah. So in ground up, we have actually quite a lot of numbers of auto belay. So a lot of, like, for me, when I free time, then I'll go in and whack all the roots in the gym.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, because, for me, I will do non-stop, just one shot, 1
okay.
hour, and
1 hour is enough for you to conquer everything.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we only have one phase, so
Okay.
I can just finish everything. But now we have 2 phase. Yeah, we expanded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
look at you. Hey, one day, suggestion, you try and buy a mountain. Hey, that would be cool, right? It's like, yes, I own this natural rock wall, yes, and then you put your name right atop. That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
Think
that
about
would
it.
be really
Think about
nice.
it, okay? So thank you so much for all those who have joined us here on our Facebook Live as well as our 1FM YouTube channel. But hey, Beatrix is staying with us all the way till 10, and we're going to carry on this great chat on air at 1FM 91.3. And for those of you who have sent in questions, thank you so much for them. Come and join us live on air, okay? Okay, Kelly Clarkson there with Since You've Been Gone, and we haven't gone anywhere. In fact, Beatrix is going to stay all the way till 10, so we're going to carry on our chats with her, find out more about her. As you know, in the next hour, we've got our Brightside Travels, so come and hear about where the travel experiences that she is going to share with us. But first, we've got some news and sports, so keep it right here on the Brightside.
Oh, hello.
Attention. Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3. You're listening to Good Times.
One FM 91.